everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host.
My name is Brett, and I am the co-host to the It Ain't Right podcast,
where we pick an event or topic of the day,
and we rate it on a scale from right to it ain't right.
That's right. And today, we are going to cover the Blue Origin rocket explosion. This explosion involved the Blue Origin New Glenn rocket, not a crewed flight. Thank God, because look at this clip.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Oh god. We just nuked the pad.
Jesus, dude.
I thought it was daytime during that clip.
A little bit of rocket fuel, going up in the sky. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think they could have got it any bigger. This incident occurred on May 28th, 2026 during a pre-launch static hot fire test at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The explosion occurred during a ground hot fire test at Launch Complex 36.
A hot fire test involved firing the rocket's engines while the vehicle remained secured to the launch pad. The rocket exploded on the pad, creating a massive fireball visible for miles and causing significant damage to launch infrastructure. I mean, it was a big-ass explosion, I would assume so.
According to the Blue Origin statement and safety update, no injuries were reported. All personnel were accounted for and safe.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank goodness. And then the destroyed rocket was Booster 3, named No, It's Necessary.
That was very unnecessary.
Yeah, unnecessarily large explosion. Allegedly, stepping off of his super yacht somewhere in the world, Jeff Bezos said he described the event as a very rough day and said it was too early to determine the root cause.
The cause of the explosion is under investigation by Blue Origin and relevant authorities.
Let's investigate ourselves for our own explosion.
I don't know what happened.
Future New Glenn launches are expected to be delayed, as expected. The incident could affect NASA lunar missions supported by New Glenn.
NASA is also heavily relying on Blue Origin and its New Glenn rocket to support the Artemis program and its moon base ambitions.
NASA is aware of the anomaly that occurred tonight at Launch Complex 36 involving Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Spaceflight is unforgiving. The developing new heavy lift launch capability is extraordinarily difficult. We will work with our partners to support thorough investigation of the anomaly, assess near-term mission impacts, and get back to launching rockets.
Let's take a good fucking break, guys.
It's going to take them a good minute to get them repairs done.
You're not joking. It was a hot fire test. The shit didn't even get off the launch pad.
This explosion followed an earlier 2026 New Glenn mission failure involving a lost satellite. Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket launches on its third ever mission on April 19th, 2026. Things went well at first, but New Glenn failed to deliver the satellite, AST Space Mobile's Bluebird 7 to the proper orbit. According to Dave Limp, the rocket's upper stage ran into problems while hauling the Bluebird 7 to lower Earth orbit. LEO, one of the Stage 2's BE-3U engines, didn't produce enough thrust during key burn. Unfortunate. However, the cost of the satellite is expected to be recovered under the company's insurance policy.
No way.
Very fortunate.
They got that at the right time, guys.
Well, just talking about this explosion and how large that fireball was, I'm kind of curious as to how much something like that would cost.
The Blue Origin New Glenn rocket cost to build was $150 million. $100 million for the first stage and $50 million for the upper stage, according to New York Times. The cost per launch estimated between 70 and 100 million. Commercial price is not fully public.
Although it was not a full launch because it never got off the ground, it was just a static test. It doesn't really matter because it cost $150 million minimally because it blew up.
A little bit of pocket change,
But before that happened, the development cost was anywhere between $2 and $2.5 billion, according to SpaceOdysseyHub.com. Recently, Blue Origin invested more than $1 billion to redevelop Launch Complex 36 into a New Glenn launch facility. That's very unfortunate because severe damage to Launch Complex 36, the destruction of the transporter erector, large structure that moves and supports the rocket, the loss of at least one lightning protection tower, damage to the associated pad infrastructure, all of this, according to ChatGPT on the low end, totaling somewhere between 100 and 200 million, but more likely ranging anywhere between 200 and 500 million dollars. Totaling a direct loss estimate, the destroyed New Glenn rocket was approximately $150 million. The lost launch opportunity for the rocket could be anywhere between 70 to 100 million. So if we take the midpoint of 85 million, I think that's fair. And then the launch pad and infrastructure damage could be anywhere between 200 and 500 million dollars. So if we take the midpoint of that, it'll be 350 million. If we total all of those together, you're looking at $585 million of damage. Roughly, we could say a 600 smooth for the Jeff Bezos.
And direct economic losses.
That's pocket change for the Batman.
Get in your sock drawer, big dog.
You got it. You got the tab on this one.
A rough day, my ass.
I was thinking, I was like, man, I don't have $600 million. I wouldn't be doing this. I said, what could you be doing with $600 million? Turns out you could be doing a lot with $600 million. Turns out you could solve the Flint water crisis. You could build water desalinization plants. I'm talking the uber duper baby, the 600 million water desalinization plant producing 25 to 35 million gallons of water per day, covering over 250,000 to 500,000 people. That sounds awesome. You could make 6 plants at $100 million, covering the same amount of people. 20 plants at $30 million, covering the same amount of people. But we don't need water. We need more data centers.
Hell yeah. I'm not thirsty either way.
You know what else we don't need? Trees. Think about how many trees we could plant with all that money.
Let's start out with a little low ball $3 tree.
That's a cheap tree. How many cheap trees could we get?
200 million trees.
That's a lot of trees.
Let's up it a little bit, up the ante. Let's say a $5 tree.
That's a nice tree.
120 million trees.
That's a lot of trees.
Big baller Jeff Bezos now. Let's ball up to $10 a tree.
I like them trees. Them's the trees you see in the parks.
Yes, sir.
Botanical garden.
About 60 million trees.
I like them trees.
Now, assuming 500 trees per acre, 120 million trees would reforest 240,000 acres, or 375 square miles, roughly the size of Indianapolis.
Damn. 2.5 times the size of Detroit.
2.5 times the size of Philadelphia.
1.5 times the size of Chicago.
And larger than the square mileage of New York.
They ain't got no trees, and we all know they need some trees.
Get the schmog out your ass, New York. Plant some trees.
Or you could pay the salary of 8,000 to 10,000 public school teachers for 1 year. You could build 10 to 20 new elementary schools, depending on the size and complexity.
Bump it up to college tuition for 50 to 100,000 students for 1 year at public universities. Fund hundreds of millions of meals through food banks.
You could eliminate food insecurity for a mid-sized metropolitan region for multiple years, build dozens of community health centers funded for years. You could build 50 to 100 fire stations, which we know they need to put out that massive fireball they just started. They need minimally that many. But alas, we all know that this is not $600 million just up for spending. This was a $600 million explosion. So that ramifications is probably leading to some layoffs if I had to reckon.
Mm-hmm. Blow up the rocket, insurance scam, get paid, lay off employees.
It's going to be a rough day for a lot of people out there. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm real sorry. Damn.
You know, over the past 5 years, Amazon has undergone multiple restructuring waves, resulting in roughly tens of thousands of layoffs globally, concentrated in corporate, AWS, and devices divisions.
Across multiple verified reports, in 2022 through 2023, 27,000 through 30,000 layoffs. The largest initial restructuring wave started in 2024. Several thousand additional targeted cuts were made. Through 2025 and 26, continued layoffs across AWS, devices, retail, corporate, 14,000 plus in a new major wave, and the estimated cumulative total estimating roughly between 40,000 and 50,000 roles affected globally since 2022. That's a lot. That's a lot of rough days. Lots of rough days out there.
Lots of rough days. Hey, let's bump them. Them are rookie numbers. We need to bring the robots in.
The ones who survives. You're limited. So, although we do know this is Amazon and this is not Blue Origin, according to the ChatGPT, it said that layoffs are not likely for Blue Origin. However, restructuring and hiring freezes are likely, definitely due to the massive amount of damage and delays on the horizon. Calculating a mission type failure rate, out of 4 missions, 2 of them have failed.
50%, baby.
That's 50%, baby. That's not good. We wouldn't have made it in school. We would have got whooped.
That's an F.
Yeah. You would have got your booty tan for that. Just so this is not misleading, or it says to say, according to ChatGPT, it states, so this is not misleading, this 50% number is not comparable to a mature rocket like the Falcon 9. Because New Glenn is still in early operational phase, one failure is a ground test explosion, not a flight. Well, to be fair, it couldn't get off the ground, and it's never going to fly at this point. They'll have to rebuild a new one. Early rockets typically show high volatility from the first 5 to 10 launches. Rough business model, man, and I'm sure the insurance hates you guys or loves you guys. Who knows?
They're working together.
Same team. NASA and the FAA classify failures differently. Mission versus vehicle versus payload.
I mean, triple whammy. All that shit's gone.
It states the simple takeaway is Blue Origin's New Glenn currently shows a 50% failure rate across the first 4 missions, but only 33% failure rate on actual orbital launches. So when it actually gets off the ground, it's only 33% failure rate.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, 2 out of 4 times ain't bad, you know?
I mean, that's 50%. That's a strong 50%.
They could be shooting for 2 for 5.
If I went to work 50% of the time,
You're fired.
you're fired. With 2 out of 4 of the recent failures from Blue Origin missions, asking ChatGPT how risky of a business is this to get into for defense contractors, partners, investors, it came back with a high severity, moderate to high business risk. It actually, out of 10, rated it 7.5 to 8.5. And it said, why not lower? It said, well, the flight vehicle was destroyed. The only New Glenn launch pad was significantly damaged, which we all saw.
That shit got blown up. It's more than damage.
It's destroyed. The program had already experienced a mission failure 1 month earlier, which was the other satellite that wasn't deployed to proper orbit. That's at 50%, baby.
50-50.
New Glenn is still in its early operational phase where reliability is not yet established. Well, yeah, them's not good numbers. Launch cadence is likely to be disrupted for months.
Thank God.
Obviously. And then it says, well, why not higher? Why not 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10? Well, Blue Origin itself is not a cash-constrained startup. Told you, Batman money.
Batman money, Jeff Bezos, big money bag.
It says it's backed by the Bezos, whose resources have historically allowed a company to absorb major setbacks.
He don't give a fuck if it's working or not.
Someone's having a rough day. There is no indication that major customers, NASA, Amazon Cooper, national security customers, have canceled contracts. I mean, not yet. We'll see. The New Glenn program has not been terminated or placed under existential review. Well, it said it was under investigation by itself. Yeah. And then it also said it was under investigation by the FAA.
You know what? Let's just sweep it under the rug. No one gives a shit.
You know what? I think what it said earlier is we got to give them like to blow up 5 or 10 rockets. And it'll be covered by insurance, and everyone will learn a bunch, and all that money is not being wasted because it's for science. Well, this is going to be the part of the show where we go ahead and put it on the scale from right.
It ain't right.
And we feel that this is massively not right. This ain't right. I mean, 50%, it's not very good. 25%, 33%. Shit, bump them numbers up, brother. Like, double check, triple check, measure twice, cut once. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Blue Origin, retire. That's what I say.
Blue Origin, retire. You know they're just trying to make the rockets to get the rich people off this when they blow this shit up anyway.
That is true. And insurance scam. We got to get paid. We got to get paid.
Okay. So everything that we talked about today is hypothetically, allegedly, supposedly true, not true, found on the internet. Shit, we don't know. This is all for entertainment purposes. Hopefully y'all got a kick out of it and a laugh. But lastly, I wanted to say thank you guys for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoy our content.
If you'd like to support the channel, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below of what you would like to see us cover on the It Ain't Right podcast.
Well, that's a wrap on this one. Thank you for listening. Until we catch you on the next one, stay free and God bless. We're out of here.